Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
TexAgs Live.
I feel like I should be listening to the theme song from the Jeffersons. You know, we're moving on up.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
It's a blessing to be in this position, and we're just thankful to be here. We're thankful to have the opportunity to go out there and play in front of the 12 man.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
It's been special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
I'm kind of missing R&B Olin. The Quiet Storm. You're kind of in the middle of that with your voice. You're not completely Luther Vandross, but you're not Olin yet.
Well, I'm closer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm closer to back to my usual voice, which I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but
Was it Froggy on Little Rascals? Is that who? Maybe
yeah, there was Froggy.
Yeah, I feel like a little Froggy vibe from you.
I was in bad shape.
Yeah.
Tried to play through it on Tuesday and took a step back, but I'm back now.
And I did reiterate to many people who work here, you were cleared from your doctor. This wasn't like the flu. This was an allergy attack that went into your chest.
Yes, all allergies.
Dr. Oz here on TexAgs Live.
So if obviously I went to the doctor. If he said, hey, you got the flu or you got something, of course I wouldn't have come to work. But he said, oh, is that just allergy related? He didn't even give me a prescription.
You know, that's code for you have a cold, right? Like when people tell you it's just allergies, everybody knows he's got a cold.
Well, I think we people that have lived here for a long time, they understand.
They get it.
Yeah, that allergies is a big thing. All you got to do is look at the hood of your car some days.
Yeah, this is true. So this is what I'm picturing. I'm picturing Olin Buchanan at home yesterday.
Okay,
like needing to rest, but his mind won't let him rest, and he's listening to the show, and he's like, I'd say this at this point, I'd say that at this point. I'm hearing Nick sabotage my go hour. I'm hearing Nuño just kind of tap dance his way through, and I wanted to say this about Marcel being in the top 6 or X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, because I even texted you where I would ranked him. I think that's a great nickname from now on for Nick. Nick Sabotage.
Sabotage. There you go.
Sabotage. So I think that's going to stick.
Did you like the oh no hour instead of the go hour?
Yeah, I did. Look, Nick did the show was so great.
Yeah.
That I knew I had to get back before they
Wally pip you?
Yeah, I didn't want to get Wally pipped.
Just to let you know, that somebody's going to be sitting in this chair. Oh, that's because you're going on vacation at some point. So, anyway, let's talk some football.
Let's do,
because it's never a bad time.
Never a bad time to talk about college football, especially Texas A&M.
I think the answer here is easy, and it's been easy for the last 40 years. What is going to be the backbone of this A&M football team? If you had to hang your hat on something, this is what this team's going to be about. What is it going to be about?
We talk about a specific position group, or
you can take. I have an idea of what I think how this team's going to win games. Okay.
Okay.
And I think it's when I say it could be a position group, it could be a mentality. To me, it's so simple, and we've said it on this show many times about A&M and any team that's good. It comes down to the LOS, the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And especially with the way I think this team is built. All teams need to be blocked well. All teams need to get after the quarterback. I understand that. But this team having a veteran offensive line, this team having a running back room, not a guy, a room, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm even talking about the freshmen in that room, okay?
Right. Yeah, they're deep at running back. Good and deep.
Okay, a quarterback who can also run.
He can.
A couple of wide receivers that if you start anticipating the run, what are they going to do?
They're going to beat you. They're going to take the top off the defense. They're fast. They're out of the break fast.
And then defensively, you lose a couple of dudes in the first and second day of the NFL draft.
Yeah, 3 of them. Yeah.
Okay, 3 guys. So you should not be better talent-wise. But we all saw the production at the end of the year kind of slide.
Without a doubt.
So to me, again, it's about the LOS, leaders of the new school. It's about the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, but you can say that with almost every team. Look, if you're not good at that, you're SOL if you're not good at the LOS, right? So
ROI.
FYI. And I think A&M is going to be outstanding on the offensive line. We've talked about this. Everybody's back. You got 3 guys that are projected as NFL draft choices.
Yeah.
You know, Mark Naboo is back. You know, so there's every reason to
your starter from last year who got hurt in the first game.
Yeah, you're proven, not just experienced, but proven. Second in the SEC last year in rushing offense, 4th in sacks allowed. I mean, that's good offensive line play right there.
Yep.
But how good is the defensive line going to be?
Well, then I can say to you, how bad was the defensive line at the end of the year last year?
It's pretty bad in November.
Yeah.
It was.
And that's what matters. Let's be honest. It's about November.
Yeah, it really is. Well, we say that.
If you have a bad September, November doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But if you have a great September, October, it doesn't matter if you don't have a good November.
Right. Yeah, you got to finish the job.
Yeah.
And they didn't. And we saw the production decline, and there's all kinds of theories as to why. I want to be really careful. I don't want anyone to say this that I'm thinking that these guys, I don't want to use the word quit, but they slacked off. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that if there's talent, sometimes you're better off with guys that are trying to, or you can be better off with guys who are trying to make a name in November than already have the name in November. Right?
1,000%. Okay, and I'm going to give an example of one. We talk about the production kind of dipping. Cassius Howell's numbers didn't dip.
No.
They went up.
No, they did. They did.
I think Rylan Kennedy made a name for himself at times last year. Okay, there were moments you're like, okay, I see what you're doing there, Rylan. Okay, there are others on the defensive line.
I think Rylan Kennedy has a lot of ability. And I don't mean to hold one play against the guy, but he had a chance to sack Quinn Ewers and got away, right? Yep. We go back and we can remember Scooby Williams on a blitz had a chance to sack Lenore Sellers.
Second play of the game, I think it was.
Right, and it got away. So having the guys that can get there is the first step.
Yep.
Second step is actually, finishing the job. And look, I thought Albert Regis was very consistent all year. I thought he was the most consistent defensive lineman.
He back.
The reviews on the guys that came in.
Yep.
To play defensive line, and then the freshmen coming up have been outstanding. So I think it's great to go into the season feeling cautiously optimistic about the defensive line. I'm going into the season feeling absolutely giddy about the offensive line. I love it. I'll be cautiously optimistic about the defensive line, and I think we'll learn.
I'm waiting to see there. We'll see.
Yeah, week three we'll know.
Well, I'm waiting to see, but couple different things I want to bring up. If you could, I'm talking about, this is not at the backbone, but I want it to be part of the backbone. If you get rid of some of those dumb penalties that we saw last year, okay? 3rd and 1s, right? Dumb holding happens. So I don't know. But late hit, how much does that change the season? I'm not talking about the backbone of the team, and I want an aggressive team. I do want an aggressive team. But if you can clean those up in those inopportune times, please, don't do it on 3rd and 1. Be your best.
Yeah. I think in time that you're going to see under Mike Elko a team that plays hard and plays smart. Because, let's face it, Mike's a smart guy.
He is a smart guy.
And he's not afraid to address the obvious situations where some coaches will kind of, throw shade at it. But again, we have to actually see it. And last year they had some times where, first of all, either they weren't physically able to do something, like get that first down on 4th and 1, or they tended to make boneheaded plays. And you're like, why does this guy keep doing that?
100%. So and another thing I was going to bring up, I am not saying retention is overrated. I'm not saying that at all. Okay? Because I think of all positions, retention on the offensive line, I think can be a game changer.
Oh, I think it's valuable.
But if you look at some of the best teams out there, perceived best teams, and also year to year, they're the ones replenishing the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happens.
So I think, in college basketball, I think retention is a huge deal. Okay, I think in football, in certain positions, it's a huge deal. But there's a level of expectation when you reach a certain level of program that it's churn and burn. Offensive line, or not offensive line. Quarterback moves on. Yeah, we got some questions, but we expect the next guy to carry the torch.
Yeah, and some programs are rolling so well. Alabama a few years ago, Georgia recently, that I'm sure Ohio State, that you've recruited at such a high level that the next guys are ready to step in. It doesn't mean that the next guys are as good as the last guy, and in some cases, the next guy is better than the last guy. But I think moving forward, the strongest teams are going to be those that have a high rate of retention, but use the transfer portal to fill specific needs.
Agree. So another factor about, and look, we've talked about what I think the backbone of the team is. The backbone of the team will be identified or defined by Colin Klein's offense this year, right? Okay. So last year, there was moments like, I kind of expected more. Year two, he's got Marcel all offseason. It is his offense. I want to see what this offense looks like because I do believe Colin Klein, the wrinkles we didn't really see last year because of several different reasons, I think he's going to unleash them this year. I hope that he unleashes them this year.
I do too. I hope they bring some elements of the option into it. Do all these kind of things that can take advantage of the skill sets, the complete skill sets that Marcel has, and then obviously letting different guys carry the ball. I saw some things in the spring that I liked. I saw jet sweeps and things I like those. Yep. And then of course adding speed to the passing game. You can never have too much speed, especially in the passing game.
So the topic that came up on the show yesterday, I'm going to ask you. Okay. So I ask you why, Rollo Insurance. By the way, they're great. Here's my question for you, OB. Mm-hmm. If A&M, if Marcel Reed is a top 6 quarterback, I said yesterday that means A&M is a 9-win team at least. Do you agree or disagree? Or there's too many other factors, David? Don't make it so simple.
Well, I would like to agree wholeheartedly, but you've got to tell me how good the defense is going to be. Because I think that
middle of the road defense.
Middle of the road defense, they'll have a shot at it.
Okay. Top 6 defense, top 6 Marcel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Then I'm going to say 9-win team. Easy. Maybe more.
Okay.
Yeah, because, there are going to be some teams that are going to be really good offensively and lacking defensively, and some teams are going to struggle offensively and play good defense. But if you can be, top, I'm not saying necessarily top tier, but, in the top 5 or 6 in both, you're going to win a lot of football games.
If Marcel can become better at the 12, the 20-yard pass in that range, that I think completely makes him a game changer, right? If he has the ability to surf and look down the field, make the right read, right throw, or take it and run, tuck it and run, I think we're talking about a game-changing guy at that position because his high level, his top, is so top that what did Jay Crane say? Marcel Reed scares more defensive coordinators than most other quarterbacks.
I think Marcel Reed's ability to run is going to enhance the 12 to 15-yard pass because I think that's who's coming open a lot. What I think where Marcel needs to get better at is the deep ball.
Yeah.
You think of, I think it was the first play of the second half against Arkansas. Deep ball that just missed. A lot of deep balls just missed. And I think about the interception.
Well, the speed is going to make a difference at that position, too.
Will. But I think about the interception, the first interception against USC. Remember, he's throwing it, I've talked about this a lot, he's throwing it 40 yards on a line when it gets undercut.
Right.
Put some air under it. I think he'll learn all those things. But I think when you see him start to run and you see him start to, I'm going to go, you're going to see more plays like you saw against Florida to Cyrus Allen where the defense converges on him and guys come open.
I saw Cyrus Allen. I think he signed with the Browns. I might be wrong. Fact check me there, Reed. I saw that he had signed a undrafted free agent deal yesterday, so congratulations to him. And here's another factor, OB, before we move on. And by the way, we're going to open up the phone lines at 979-693-1150. That's the Buffy's Catering Hotline. You can text that number as well. What is the backbone of this year's team, if they are going to be the team that we expect them to be? I'm sorry, but year 2 of Tommy Moffitt, I think it's a thing. It's a real thing.
Well, they've gotten bigger in the offensive line, and I'm sure that's by design.
Yep.
They said, look, there were some plays on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, where we just got physically beat. Mm-hmm. So let's get bigger and stronger and see if we can't make sure when it's because Mike's going to go for it on 4th and 1. He said, this is who we are going to be. So if that's who you're going to be, then you got to be as physical as possible up front without sacrificing some ability to move as well.
I lied to you. I'm going to continue the topic a little bit longer. So where would you rank the offensive line last year, like in the SEC? I'm not saying like maybe 4th or 5th, but top 3rd, like...
4th or 5th.
Okay.
If not even higher.
And then let me follow that up with this. Can you be 4th or 5th if you struggle on 4th and 1 the way they did?
Yeah, I think you can be because, I mean, there was a reason you were down there on the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
You know. But that's like, that's like having a great pitching staff except for your closer.
Oh.
Your closer.
They don't have Evan Oschenbeck, right?
Right.
They don't have Weston Moss on most occasions.
So if you get to where you can pick up that 4th and 1 consistently, where you just know, and you know what, the defense knows it too.
Yeah.
That they're going to get it. Like I know it's because of the Eagles and the way they play, but it's when it's 4th and 1 in the Eagles,
what they're going to do.
They're going to get it. So when you get to that point that you just know, then you got your Oschenbeck. Your defense puts that Oschenbeck element into it, the EE, or I guess he was an AE.
So you missed a couple of shows, so I'm going to ask you a couple of trivia questions.
Okay.
All right. If you can answer them, I know you're back. Okay.
All right.
What is the name of this particular 3-hour enterprise that we call a show?
You mean TexAgs Live?
Yeah. Okay. And who is the presenting sponsor?
You mean David Gardner?
And his jewelers.
Yeah.
His band of jewelers. This actual studio, this beautiful room here.
You're referring to the Rollo Insurance Studio?
I am.
Jason and everybody?
Yeah. But this hour also has a name.
The Go Hour with CC Creations?
Yeah. Presented by CC Creations.
Yeah.
But okay. This is the real test.
Uh-huh.
This little platform that we're on.
Yeah, this platform.
Where we're sitting.
Yeah.
Right? What do we call this area?
You mean the Holistic Planning Cool Zone?
Oh, yeah. But I forgot what they do.
Oh, they do all kinds of things. A lot of cool things. That's why it's the cool zone. Holistic planning. Hey, if you need help with your investments, if you need help with your estate planning and taxes, so if you're going to make your money, but you want to keep it, they can help you with all that. And if you're like into sports and you've always thought, man, I'd like to, if I can't own a team, I'd like to at least get into ownership. They can do what?
They can help you invest in pro sports.
How do you do that?
By going to investinprosports.com.
Oh, that makes sense.
Hey,
yeah.
Another thing. I think we should go around the room and say hi to people. Who's behind the glass?
Nick Savatage.
Hey, Savatage.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
Hello.
Well, building off that topic, David, I'm going to go with, I think, the backbone's really got to be the running backs. Le'Veon Moss, when he comes back, hopefully he's 100% ready to go by the start of the season. Ruben Owens, those 2 freshmen that all reports say they're going to be really good and hopefully get into some games this year. I think A&M, if they can rely on their running game, which includes Marcel Reed, I think that's going to be something they're going to rely on pretty heavily.
Agree with you, but the running game can only be as good as that offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they work together, obviously. And by the way, don't forget Amari Daniels.
Amari
really well.
And you know what? I was kind of hard on him last year. I wasn't hard on him. I just didn't talk about him much. E.J. Smith showed me something in the bowl game, showed me a little bit. So when you have that many running backs, all these other guys probably aren't going to get the carries that they saw in 24, but you've got a stable of backs.
Yeah, if depth becomes an issue, you want to have a lot of guys to turn to, and A&M, I don't think depth will be an issue for running.
I said E.J. Smith, right? Is that the name? Okay, I was just making sure.
I feel like Amari Daniels, since we're using the reliever analogy in baseball, Amari Daniels is the guy, that middle reliever that nobody really knows, who's always throwing his shutout inning. He bridges the 6th to the 7th, and I feel like that's Amari Daniels, always reliable.
You know what? I look at him as this. No drop-off. Yeah, it's not Le'Veon Moss. It's different, right? But considering what he did last year in that situation, and he was projected as your 3rd down back or your 3rd running back, Guy was fantastic.
I think he did
underappreciated.
Yes, and he's a guy that didn't leave, and
could have left a couple times.
Yeah,
right?
I guarantee you that he could find a place to start. So Amari Daniel should be very not just appreciated but celebrated here.
Somebody who is good about this era of college football. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go to we're late. But we're going to go to the Angry Elephant Read and Social Center. Angry Elephant News and Social Center. We'll read news. Read Neil. Hello, sir.
How's it going, guys?
Hello.
So, first I've got a comment for y'all. It's basically just going along with what y'all said.
Okay.
Edward in Austin says,
Edward!
Easily a 9-win team if Reed is a game manager or better. We had a top 10 rush offense before Moss went down, and the defense held 10 teams below their scoring average.
Again, there's some really good players that were not on that defense. They were on that defense that are not.
They're not there. And I'm going to say this. I know this is not a popular topic, all right, or a popular thought. I don't think the defense was really all that good in the beginning of the season either. I think there was a stretch in the middle beginning where they were really like every game felt like an improvement. But they didn't tackle in the Notre Dame game.
No.
Especially in the fourth quarter.
Especially.
So that theme, to me, tackling is the big deal. Yeah, can you get to the quarterback and can you finish the job?
And you play zone defense.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, one of your favorite players, I have a quote from him that I think you'll appreciate in the next segment. Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
He plays for the Dallas Cowboys.
Looking forward to
He does a lot of commentary.
Looking forward to it.
Do you know who it is?
Plays for the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah.
Donovan Wilson?
No. We'll get to it in a minute. One more read.
And then, another commenter said, he said, "Hey guys, great show with the Aggies. I think you got to learn to tackle first. A lot of missed tackles last year."
I didn't type that. I promise you I didn't type that.
Thank you, Elizabeth Nuño.
She doesn't listen to me, bro.
This is Jerry.
Jerry?
From somewhere in Texas.
Cousin Jerry?
Jerry Nuño.
Well, I bet you that guy is jacked. Anyway, let's talk protein. Okay? Macronutrients. You need at least 200 proteins a day, OB. Where are you going to go?
Well, I don't know where I'm going to go every day.
But on a Thursday,
Friday, and
or
Saturday, I'm going to go to 1775 barbecue.
Technically, you could go every day. You know why?
Because you can take some home.
And there's a lot of food. Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of food. I was there last week.
Did you love it?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. And I would like to say that we brought some home, but actually, look, Irma can eat more than her share. She can eat now.
Yeah.
Now, she doesn't look it, but she can eat. And that food is so good at 1775 that even those ladies that typically don't eat a lot, they're going to enjoy it and get into that succulent brisket.
Tell me more.
And that sausage with the jalapeno and cheese.
Eat it.
I love it. Man.
Yeah.
And of course the pork ribs. And Irma liked the pulled pork.
By the way,
even the turkey and the mac and cheese.
Now that even the interns think I eat ice cream and broccoli and like broccoli ice cream, you've gone with me to 1775. I annihilated that food.
He really did. But you know what? Here's the thing. If you're like on the carnivore diet, this is like the perfect place in the world for you.
But if you want to, get your carb on,
that queso mac and cheese.
Forget about it. 1775 TX.
Don't forget about it. Remember. Yeah. Remember, because then you'll never forget about it.
This is a 19-minute live spot. 1775txbbq.com.
What's up, TexAgs? This commercial break is brought to you by my good friends over at Aggieland Chevrolet, the official automotive sponsor of TexAgs.com and me, Billy Lucci. Greg Gunn is the proud owner of Aggieland Chevrolet and invites you to visit the dealership to experience true Aggie hospitality. From their friendly staff to the experienced service team, Aggieland Chevrolet is TexAgs approved. Check out the dealership off of Highway 6 in Bryan or go to AggielandChevrolet.com and tell them Billy Lucci sent you by.
And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David, Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. Two guys wearing blue. Olin Buchanan. That's more of a greenish blue, right?
Yeah, I guess. Kind of a teal, maybe.
Yeah. What would you say mine is? It's like a baby blue?
Yours?
Yeah. I'm sure the radio audience cares about this conversation. Hey, so Micah Parsons is a fan of Shamar Stewart.
All right.
And on his podcast, he said, one thing that pops to me is this guy is violent. I mean, you put on the tape, he is violent. He may not finish, but I will say this, he gets off. Everything up to that point is 110 miles per hour. And college stats are really deceiving. I mean, I never even had more than 5.5 sacks out of college.
I didn't realize that. Didn't Micah play more like linebacker, or was he a...
Yeah.
So you never know what the scheme is.
Sure.
And how people are going to use you. But I'm still surprised that Shamar never got more than 1.5 sacks in a season. Remember last year he was saying he wanted to get 15. That was his goal.
God, how different would the season have been?
That would have been amazing.
I mean, if it just make that number 9.
But I will say this, and you know this too, and we've talked about it. The single best defensive play all year was probably when he crashed in and interrupted the exchange against Arkansas, and they fumbled, and A&M recovered at the 10 and scored, and that changed the game.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
And he almost had he almost intercepted a shovel pass against South Carolina. He was there. I think it just shocked him.
Yeah, it did shock him. That's right.
And if he had made that, maybe that would have changed the play. But Shamar can play, and if he does learn to finish, again, he may turn out to be a dominant NFL lineman. Hope so.
I just appreciated those comments because we've all said when we watch Shamar, like physically and how he jumps off the line, like we knew something was there. It just, unfortunately, the sacks didn't happen here. But it's sometimes more than sacks. Here's another little commentary for you. You know how much money Buzz is going to make at Maryland? Because it came out the other day.
Well, I assume he's going to make more than he's making here. And I heard he was making like about 4.5, so $5 million.
Actually, no. Steve Berkovitz of USA Today says the agreement with Buzz Williams is a 6-year deal that starts with an annual pay of $4.8 million and is to increase by $100,000 annually.
Okay.
So very similar.
$5 million-ish.
Yeah.
Of course, he's going to pay more in taxes in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
But I think he was playing the long game. New project, and take some Big Ten players, you know, be able to compete in the Big Ten, and gives you 6 more years, right? Like here, how much longer, if he would have stayed, would he have been here? A year or 2? Whatever his contract was?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, he could have stayed probably as long as he wanted. And that's, you know, we just talked about 2 guys. You know, one of them had an opportunity and left. The other one stayed. Shamar Stewart, remember, like so much of that 2022 class left. And, of course, he had opportunities. I'm sure Miami wanted him back.
Absolutely.
But thank you, Mrs. Stewart, who told him, no, you're going back to Texas A&M. And he came back, and he played hard for the Aggies, and he was a very good player. So I wish him all the success in the world. And if I was a better person, I'd do the same for the other guy, but I don't.
Yeah. Let's go back to the, oh, wow, there's a smoker.
Excuse me.
Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Reed, Neal, more commentary?
You mean the comments?
Or whatever.
Yes.
Well, I have some golf news for y'all.
Okay.
So the number 12 A&M's men's golf team goes to Alabama to open the NCAA Tournament play at the Alabama Regional, which will be from May 12th to May 14th. We have claimed the number 2 seed in the 13-team regional, and it is a par 72, 7,326-yard course.
And you know who's going to be on the show later on today?
Mary Stoiana.
Well, she plays women's tennis. But did you say men's golf? Is that what you said? Or you said, okay. We have Steve Denton on the show later on. Sorry, men's tennis. We have Steve Denton on the show later on today.
All right.
We also have Brian Kortan on the show later on today. So I'm just giving a little bit of love to all the sports because this is a big time of year.
But you always give a lot of love to the sports.
Yeah, well, if you ask Buzz Williams,
I wonder if they do that in Maryland.
There's a joke there. I'm not bitter. Because TexAgs won't interview you, I will. Come on, man. Let's stop with that nonsense. Brazos Running Company time. They're locally owned and operated by Aggies. Love the Brazos Running Company. If you're looking to get some running shoes, that's the place to go. You can get all the best brands, Brooks, On, and Hoka. If you're a runner, walker, or interested in fitness, make sure you stop by the Brazos Running Company because they have all the top shoes, and they're going to help you find the right shoe for you. Whatever kind of running situation, whatever kind of striker you are when you hit the pavement, they're going to find the right shoe for you. You heel strikers, you toe strikers, it doesn't matter. They also have Yori clothing. They got Duck Camp and Turtle Box speakers and Stanley Cups. Brazos Running Company, located at Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. It's the Brazos Running Company. We're back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Kyle sends in a text. He wants us to give some love to the TexAgs chat. So we're going to give some love to the TexAgs chat. And here's one from, see how we pronounce it. Where'd it go? My page is not loading up. It is from K-Love, is that right? K-Love Ags. With the weaker home schedule for Aggie football, they need to be undefeated at home this season.
Okay.
If they're undefeated at home, okay?
That'd be 7 wins.
And you got to win minimum, I say, 2 on the road.
Okay. Well, what would be those 2 on the road that you're most likely to get? I would say, because we
I think you're winning the Notre Dame game, buddy.
Okay.
Today, I feel good about it.
Okay.
I may change my mind next week.
I would say Missouri and Arkansas are the ones you're most likely to win. And, I feel good about it. I feel good even about LSU.
I can't allow myself there yet.
Well, I know. Look, I'm one of the few I've actually seen them win in Baton Rouge. I've seen it. And I've seen them come close. Oh, tantalizingly close.
They were robbed.
They were.
But they still don't have success there.
But, that's got to change eventually. And again, I keep going back, and I know A&M's defensive line's got to prove itself, but I keep going back. That's a rebuilt offensive line, and maybe it'll be great, but until I see it, I have to have questions.
So I look at this, and I go like, the Notre Dame game, Notre Dame should replenish because they're Notre Dame, right? But that team who went to the championship game, A&M had every opportunity to win that game.
Every opportunity.
Okay, different team, different year, all that, but that was a Notre Dame team that went all the way to the end. Okay. Yeah. Do I worry about Florida coming here? Yeah, I worry a little bit about them. If DJ Lagway ends up being the quarterback that we saw at the end of the year for all season, yes, I worry about them, right? So there is that aspect. South Carolina, I think I looked at their returning productions, not very good, okay? Like their returning production, they still have what is considered to be an elite quarterback.
Heck of a quarterback.
Right? Is he elite? Like, I feel like he's getting some of the KJ Jefferson. Like, he's better than KJ Jefferson. But he's getting some of that KJ Jefferson level where I think we're bumping up a little bit more because of how he played towards the end of the season.
I think he's a better, from what last year, he's a better runner than KJ. But I don't think he was a better passer.
No, KJ could throw that deep ball, man. Yeah. So, but I think Lenore Sellers, not only did he demolish A&M. He was a really
I
good
think he should be the number 1 rated quarterback in the SEC.
I don't know who's better.
They say Nussmeier, but I would take, based on what I saw, obviously.
Nussmeier's a better passer of the football.
Right, but not nearly the running.
If he has a great offensive line, which, by the way, you just pointed out, they're not going to be the same line.
Of course, Lenore Sellers' line is almost completely changing, too. The difference is his line wasn't that good anyway.
Yeah.
It might get better. But I'll tell you this, LSU's offensive line will not be better than it was. It was like in 2012 or 13, there were some people out there saying, A&M's line is going to be better. You are not going to be better without Luke Jokel.
Yep.
Or Patrick Lewis. You are not going to be better without Will Campbell and Emory Jones. And
under
others.
that same thinking, though, LSU fans would say, well, A&M's defense is not going to be better.
And that's what we're saying.
Defensive line.
That's what we're saying, you're probably right. Except that the defensive line, for all of its talent, especially in November, did not produce at the level that you would expect. So you're thinking, okay, how big is the drop off?
Right. So looking back at that schedule, okay, I think the word "should" is not always reality. I think you should beat Florida at home. I think you should. Okay. As of the information that I have today, I think you should beat Florida at home. I can't say you should beat South Carolina after what they did to you on the road, but you should beat South Carolina. I'm going to say it.
I think A&M should beat South Carolina every time they play.
Boom. Okay. Who else is a should? I don't know if you can say should about Notre Dame. I think they will beat Notre Dame today. Information, Aggie Kool-Aid today.
Well, I think you should beat Auburn at home, even though you did not beat them last year.
Yep.
And they're going to test that new secondary. But player for player, I think, with the exception of the receivers at Auburn, I think player for player, you've got a better team than Auburn. Auburn is another team. Huge, significant losses on defense.
Yeah. So
as well as offense.
So what other game can we just when we're talking the should game? Okay, other shoulds are.
Well, I'm not gonna.
I think you should beat Arkansas. They're gonna be bad. It's hard to go to Fayetteville. I recognize that. We had John Neighbors on Tuesday. John's a good reporter for covering Arkansas, and he's like, he doesn't even know if they're going to win 5 games.
They've had so much turnover in that program, and who knows what they're going to have. But you know what? It seems like they always. I don't care how bad they are. The year they lost to North Texas, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the year when they lost to North Texas that A&M had to get a late interception?
Oh yeah,
to hold them off and win. It's never easy against Arkansas, and it's going to be even harder up in Fayetteville.
But enough of this should. A&M just has to find a way to win games this year, right? Mm-hmm. And no shoulds or coulds or woulds. Just go do it. And I know they're not having these talk show conversations in that locker room. Hopefully they're just putting in the work and fixing their issues from last year. Because if they're significantly better in a lot of those issues, some new holes will pop up, no doubt, right? Like, I think the tight end group might be better this year. Trey Watson was really good for them.
If the tight end group is as good as it was last year, I'll be satisfied. It wasn't a liability. But I'm with you. I think Burkitcher, really got my attention in the spring game.
Yeah, he got my attention, and there's some others on there that I'm like, okay, like Nyblack I'm excited about, so there's a lot. We'll hit a break here. Let's play a little buy, sell, lease on the other side.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to make sense, but I'm going to try for it to make sense. Okay?
We'll try it.
Yeah, we'll do that. Heritage Films time. When it comes to preserving your farm or ranch's legacy, it's not just about capturing those pretty pictures. It's about loving your land and passing it on to the next generation and the story behind it. Heritage Films is a sponsor of TexAgs. They've been with us since 2021 when I got here, and what they do is they do family stories, family business stories, family ranch stories, and they have this new farm and ranch films, and they're transferring the values that you built your operation on to the generations who are going to inherit it. Chance McClain has interviewed thousands of people and told their stories and has really now focused a lot on farms and ranches because he thinks it's the blueprint of America, discover something profound. They're not just businesses. They tell people's family stories. That land does. The timber farmers, they get in 100-year cycles. The cattle ranchers preserving that tradition. Farm and Ranch Films captures the wisdom your grandchildren are going to need. The website is yourheritagefilm.com. You can click on the Farm and Ranch tab or call 713-893-8341 to preserve not just the story, but the foundation of your family. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. You ready to play a little buy, sell, lease, OB?
Yeah, it just reminded me.
Okay.
Why isn't Steve McGee here today?
He was busy. He got things to do.
Oh, okay. All right, Stephen.
Family, business.
Big time in us. All right.
I want to talk about falls from grace. Okay. I want you to.
I know all about that.
Buy the softest land, middle, and sell the worst, right? So, like, I'm going to give you 3 different scenarios.
Okay.
And maybe who you buy, who you have the most empathy for, the one you kind of like, you know what, it wasn't that big of a deal now in retrospect.
All right.
Okay? And maybe it was a huge deal, but like you feel sorry for him now.
So the selling would be the one I don't feel bad for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I know what your answer is going to be.
Okay, that's interesting because I don't know.
Tiger Woods.
All right.
Lance Armstrong.
Okay.
Barry Bonds.
Wow.
Que juego!
I think the one, say them all again.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
Now, he did win a Masters. Or was it Masters? What did he win after? He won a major. I can't remember. I think it was the Masters. Lance Armstrong. Barry Bonds.
Goodness gracious.
Great Balls of Fire.
I think I would say Tiger Woods as far as the one that I'd buy.
Okay. Because it's the one you kind of have the most, maybe not empathy, but the one that
he had a lot of personal problems.
Sure.
Within, well, they all had some personal problems, but he had some problems.
Marital problems.
Some marital problems, and people have that. I don't condone the things he did, Irma. I don't. But don't come after me with a 5-iron. But those things kind of happen.
Yep.
He did not necessarily taint the game,
right?
Unlike the other two.
Mm-hmm.
The other two tainted the game.
But did Barry Bonds taint the game that everybody else was tainting anyway?
That's why I'm gonna lease Barry Bonds. Look,
he should be in the Hall of Fame, bro. Right?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. He's not a good person. I mean, he's really a bad guy. Treats people terrible.
Yep.
But yeah, he wouldn't have had all the home runs.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was arguably the greatest player in baseball before he juiced.
Sure.
And yeah, you know, Roger Clemens supposedly did. Your guy Canseco, Mark McGuire. So, you know, I mean, it was rampant in baseball. He was one of many.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have to, would that be sell Lance Armstrong because
he treated people poorly.
And actually really hurt some people in their livelihoods, you know, that were part of that and constantly lied while also writing a book.
Yep.
And making people look, he beat cancer and he motivated and gave hope to a lot of people. But he also lied to so many people and hurt so many people. So I would say, so Tiger Woods, I'm buying. You know, I'll lease Bonds because everybody else was doing it too.
I'm going to tell you why I brought this up.
I want to know how you thought I would do because you said you thought you knew how.
I thought Tiger would be the guy.
Okay.
I thought Lance would be the one you'd sell. And I think Barry or Tiger you could have gone either way on. But maybe Tiger treats people poorly. I've never heard that. He's a competitor that sometimes, like Kobe treated people poorly, but also gave a lot of love.
One time I was covering this would have been around 1999, I was covering a Texas football game at Stanford.
Okay.
And my job was to do a story on the opposing team. So I'm going into the Stanford locker room, and there's Tiger Woods. I'm standing as close to him as I'm sitting to you right now.
Yep.
And I thought to myself, what can I say that won't be just stupid? And I went, nothing. So I didn't say anything.
Didn't say anything.
But go ahead.
The reason I brought this topic up is Bill Belichick. And I'm not comparing Bill Belichick to these guys, please. But I do think it's interesting how we look at Bill Belichick right now.
I want to
not just because of the
lease with you.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, buy, sell, and lease.
We got 40 seconds.
Okay.
No, we got a minute and a half. We got a minute and a half.
Here's my 3 couples. You got to figure out which one's the most atrocious or whatever.
Okay.
Atrocious is not the right word. John Lennon, Yoko Ono, Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson, Mike Tyson, Robin Givens.
Oh, my God. Oh God! Do you even know the Mike Tyson Robin Givens story?
He just told me this morning.
Okay. Wow. No, okay, I'm going to answer this carefully. Yoko, because I was going to say
she ruined the Beatles.
She did. You could also say Courtney Love ruined Kurt Cobain.
But Nirvana, as good as they weren't like.
Yeah, but they were big. All right, so
it's like saying
you ruin a band.
Justin Timberlake's cooler than Mick Jagger.
Robin Givens did not put Mike Tyson in jail. It was somebody else, but she did cause a lot. And the third one was
Belichick.
Okay. The one that I have the most grace for.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, because we don't know how this is going to turn out yet. Okay, we're still very early in the process.
Right.
He hasn't been arrested yet. Okay. Yoko, I'm leasing.
Okay. So you're selling?
No, you know what? I'm selling Yoko.
Okay.
No mo Yoko.
All right. Yeah, I mean, she just ruined.
You ruined the best band of all time.
And ruined it over an ugly Japanese lady.
Obi, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm back.
I don't know, guys. Michael Earley's next on TexAgs Live. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. We're talking a little baseball here on the program. Richard Zane joining me for my weekly conversation with Michael Earley, brought to you by Duck Camp. We know the best moments happen out there on the boat, casting a line, or hauling in the catch of the day. Be sure to check out Duck Camp's new spring hats, like the fan favorite crawfish hat and the redfish hat at duckcamp.com. With that, we go to the Buppies Catering Hotline. We are joined by Michael Earley. Coach Earley, good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Well, sir. So let's just talk about a reset after a rough weekend, beating Lamar and getting back on track, sir.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Always, there's, I guess the big question after a series like that, sandwiched in between this one, it's like, where's the energy level going to be? And I thought it was exactly where it needed to be. I thought we did some things we got to clean up, but from it come out flat and didn't come out. That's always a big question heading into those games for everyone but us. So we answered the call, and I was pleased about our effort.
Definitely want to talk to you a little bit about scoring with runners in scoring position. We saw it play you guys in Austin. You guys didn't do a great job of it in the 13-6 win on Tuesday. But, Coach, obviously we saw the response on Tuesday in the victory. What have you seen over the last couple of days that leads you to believe your club's ready for yet another top 2 team comes in here on beginning tomorrow with LSU?
It's more of just how we've played over the course of the last month. I know this weekend wasn't what we wanted, but I think we showed we can play with anyone and play good baseball. So just everyone going about their business and doing what they're supposed to do and making the adjustments we need to make as coaches and players, and constantly, being really good and diligent about sticking to our routine and always making adjustments to cater to what we need to do better in the opponent we're going to play. So just business as usual with intent and energy level that we've had all season.
You kind of teased it. What kind of adjustments need to be made for y'all to cash in on those opportunities with runners in scoring positions? I know you teased it a little bit. You talked about it on Tuesday night post game. But what are you guys doing to try and get that improved?
I think part of it is like getting more in scoring position, like increasing the odds. Like, let's get more in position just to give ourselves more opportunities. When you get those opportunities, still sticking to your approach and getting your pitch. And maybe it's not a base hit, right? Like whenever there's a runner on third base, less than 2 outs and the infield's back, to me, if you hit a ground ball to shortstop, I think that's like hitting a solo home run. I think you should feel the same way because you just scored a run. Or if you get a breaking ball maybe that you don't love up in the zone early in the count that you can hit a fly ball to the outfield, let's hit it to the outfield. And the game knows, and the game will reward you. And it's not like a selfish thing. It's just, hitting's hard, but let's try to simplify it. Like I said, all you got to do is hit a ground ball to short, score a run. Or all you got to do is get a fly ball to the outfield, score a run. And they're trying. It's just about taking a deep breath and sticking with your routine and not trying to do too much and just hitting. There's no drill for hitting with runners in scoring position.
Talking to Michael Earley here on TexAgs Live. Coach Earley, let's talk a little bit about Ben Arroyo. Obviously, he had the huge performance on Tuesday, but just overall his growth and development with this squad.
Yeah, he's done an awesome job from day one. He came in, honestly, probably came in and not expecting to play. He was here. You want depth and you want talent. And for him in the fall, I'm sure he didn't even dream of this happening, but you would never know by the way he's prepared and the way he's went about his business. And he's continued to work and always been an awesome teammate. And he's everything you can want. He's a storyline and an example of you never know when you're going to get your opportunity, and you never know how the season's going to play out. And the season's never what you think it's going to be from the first lineup to the end. So I'm just really proud of his effort and his continued maturity and the way he's grown since he's been at A&M.
Another guy that deserves a lot more love is Blake Benderup. I think it's an 8-game hitting streak and 12 of his last 13. What have you seen from him that has allowed him to become so consistent in his new mechanical adjustments to his swing?
Blake's just, not only is he a tough kid, he's just extremely coachable. Like anything he ever does wrong, like it's not due to lack of him not being coachable or effort or anything like that. He just continues to work and continues to grind, and he's just an extremely, extremely coachable kid. I alluded to earlier in the season, like he's a tough kid, and what toughness does is it's easy to be tough when you're doing well, but when he went through those struggles, like he's still tough, man, mentally tough. and has just really worked through it. And he's continuing to work. Like, he's definitely not a finished product, and there's a lot of stuff he's got to continue to get better at. But that's, again, someone I don't bet against, because I just believe in him, and he's going to continue to work and continue to get better.
Coach Earley, I know that you never worried about your starting rotation, but they were really good. They were excellent this past weekend. Just talk about them kind of navigating that SEC storm and then having a really good weekend ahead of this LSU one coming up.
Yeah, those guys they're all different. So I don't want to say they're all the same, but they're all different personalities, but they're all really similar in just how they go about their business. And it's just really incredible to see how they work no matter what, and their routine. And there's such an example for our young guys. And there's guys on this team that can take a lot from them and what they do. There's guys on this team that I think, might even have more talent than some of them, but how these guys go about their business every single day is the reason they're able to have outings like they had, or when they have bad outings, they're able to bounce back. I was just really proud of how they went into that environment and filled up the strike zone, made the pitches they needed to make, and gave us a chance to win. And that's all you can ask for from a starting pitcher.
Sticking with pitching, and I know we saw an uncharacteristic outing from Weston Moss on Sunday. You said on this show on Monday that he was battling an illness. How is he feeling as you get closer to this weekend against the Bayou Bengals?
He's still battling. He's definitely in a better spot than he was on Sunday. So we've done some things, cut some things back, just trying to keep him hydrated and get some food in his body. But he's still grinding through it. But I think he's definitely not like he was on Sunday. So he'll pitch this weekend. We just got to make sure it's in the right situation and make sure it's, he's in a good enough spot to do that.
Given that Weston's not 100%, how important is it that guys like Caden McCoy, Caden Wilson, Luke Jackson, and the other guys down the bullpen, Brad Rudis, step up this weekend against a vaunted offense like LSU?
Yeah, we need both Cadens to continue to pitch how they've been pitching. Cade Wilson pitched unbelievable this weekend, and McCoy is continue to grow. I don't even look at him as a freshman anymore. And then, we're going to need Brad. We're going to need all those guys. We're going to need everyone. Everyone's going to have to continue to play and to work and to expect the baseball. And I think those guys do. And I think Luke Jackson is going to have a good one this weekend. That's just how I feel about him. I know he's had a couple in Austin, weren't great, but whenever guys like that after the Arkansas outing, I feel like, the next big one's coming. So all those guys are going to get the ball at some point, and I know they'll be ready.
Coach Earley, I was talking to Bronny yesterday about Caden Sorrell, and I was like, I feel like he's even doing better than I expected, like in his return. And he's like, man, if you would have seen him in fall, you would have seen this happening. But I still feel like as quickly as it happened coming back from injury, just when you look at what Sorrell's been able to do and really just re-galvanize that offense, and I'm sure some of it was expected, but I still think it was quick.
Yeah, he's different, though. Like, you're right. I think you're both right. Like, it is very quick, but he's a very unique talent, and I've gotten so lucky in my career to be able to coach some first rounders and some big time hitters, and this guy, he's up there for me, man. It's different. It's different. Just from a hitting standpoint, mechanics, baseball, my baseball eye just tells me this guy is just different, and that's maybe I'm not giving you a great explanation, but it's one of those, you see it and you hear it, and it's not like everyone else. And then you mix it in with the mindset, the killer instinct with a plan, the personality. He hits like his personality, which is just tough. And there's just something about a left-handed swing, right, that's just prettier than a right-handed swing. And he's got that sweet left-handed stroke and some really strong hands and just intent. And he's a unique talent. You saw it as a freshman, and you just see glimpses of it, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. And then he kind of turned into do some freshman stuff. But man, it's the real deal. It's a real deal, and I think you can see how he's changed our team. He's changed our team since he's got back, like we knew he would. I think his on-base percentage is like close to 500, which is kind of crazy. But he just continues to compete and battle, and no matter what, that kid's going to play.
One of those high-round draft picks that you've been able to coach is Jace Lavalette. Over his last 4 games, he's got just 1 hit. So What are y'all working on this week to try and get him back to the guy we've seen throughout the course of his career, and especially the guy we saw in Fayetteville just 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it's the same thing with Jason's always like hitting, being on time for balls in the strike zone, not chasing pitches out of the zone. And knowing that when he's really good, like people don't want to pitch to him and taking your walks, but just being on time for balls in the zone and continue to compete every single at bat. So he had a really good day of practice yesterday. We're going to make sure he has a good one today, and he'll be ready to go for the weekend because, just having him go. I mean, Jason Strell are guys that can not only win you a game, but they could possibly win you a series. Like you saw, I mean, Jace's impact of the series in Arkansas can't be overstated. So got to get him back to swinging at strikes, being on time for strikes, and when you're on time for strikes, you take pitches out of the zone.
Coach Earley, look, life in the SEC, I know it's ridiculous, and it's been that way for a long time. But have you ever coached or been a part of a stretch where it's like one week it's the number one team in the country, then it's the number two team in the country, then it's the number one team in the country, then back to number two, all within like a month of each other?
No, I have not. I don't think, at least. I don't remember like this. Maybe I look at it differently now than I did, but I don't think that's the case. So, no, I don't. But you're right. It's life in the SEC, and we played. Heck, man, when we played some of the teams we played, they weren't ranked as high, but they felt like they were just as good. So it's not really something we look at. And honestly, it's cool, right? Like you get to play. Like let's play the number one or number two team. Why not? So we're excited. I don't necessarily look at the ranking as much as I do as the opponent, but no, I'm not quite seeing a stretch like it, but I think we've done a good job. I mean, minus last weekend, like we've answered the call. We've been ready to play. We've been in the games and we've been fighting, and we showed the type of team we are, and it's going to be no different. You're going to see that type of effort and energy out of this weekend. This team is, I feel like we might have got knocked to the mat a little bit this weekend at Texas, which you never want, especially against those guys. But we're going to get right back up, and we're going to keep swinging, man, because that's the kind of character we got in this locker room. So we're really excited to get out there.
What specific challenges does this LSU team present that you'll have to ace in order to keep answering the call, as you said?
They're just really good, really talented. I mean, their Friday guy is a really good pitcher. Like, guy I think is going to be a big leaguer. They got big leaguers in their lineup, and you got a guy like Jared Jones and Curiel, the freshman, and Monster Milam, like just really good players on their offense, on their pitching staff. Chase Shores out of the pen. Like you're going to see guys this weekend on our team and their team that are going to be Major League Baseball players. So it's another weekend where you're not going to out talent anyone, and you just got to play better on that day. So they're really, really good. They're physical. I think similar to us, they're having a really good offensive year. They're similar to us in the fact that you're going to see some physical guys up there. And then from a pitching standpoint, I mean, you got a lot of talent on the mound. So it's not going to be easy. That's for sure. It's not going to be easy at all.
Coach Earley, we appreciate your time, sir. Thanks so much. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
See you. Michael Earley here on TexAgs Live. Really liked a couple of those answers. The Caden Sorrell one, he's that guy, right? There's an aura that he carries with every swing of the bat, the way he practices, and I thought the way he answered that was it painted a picture to me.
He answered that. It was a similar question on Tuesday night about Caden because he had 2 home runs in the win over Lamar. He called him a killer in a baseball sense. He goes up to the plate with a plan every single time, and he goes up there with bad intentions. And if he takes a bad swing at a bad pitch, he doesn't let it carry over to the next one. If it's a bad result from an at-bat, he doesn't let it carry over to the next one. He's got that short-term memory that allows him to be so great, along with the God-given gifts that you get to see on display night in, night out. And what I love about Caden is offensively, he's been fantastic. I think it's 9 home runs in 19 games this season.
Yeah.
So project that over with the full 43 they've played so far. Like he's north of 20 or right at 20. That'd be a fantastic year for him. But he's playing an elite defense too. And A&M's defense has been elite defensively in the outfield with both Jace Lavalette and Terrence Keel II. So throwing him in there just makes him even better. It's been fantastic to watch.
Well, and then the other thing, when I asked him about the 1-2, 1-2 that they've gone through, right? Like LSU's number 2 now, right now, right?
Yes.
And I know that they have faced 1s and 2s before, right? Like this is, But I feel like the fact that it's all in like a 1 month period, and also they're partially responsible for new number ones and new number twos because they beat one, they beat two, which opened up the new number one.
It's a schedule that's kind of like familiar, I don't know, of that 2019 football team, right?
Oh,
they played 3 number ones, and then they also had to go play number 4 Georgia. Obviously, A&M didn't have success in those 4 games, but this A&M team, this baseball team in 2025 is undaunted almost by the number in front of the team they're playing. They've been undaunted by environments.
Right.
Speaking about road victories in Knoxville and Fayetteville, they didn't play particularly poorly in front of a ruckus, hostile crowd in Austin. Now they get to play one of those top teams in their home ballpark. Hopefully the ballpark's packed this weekend and the 12th man actually gives the Aggies a home field advantage because they've deserved it. With what they've done for the majority of this month, they have deserved to come and play in front of a packed crowd. And I have no doubt that the 12th man will provide that.
Appreciate you, Richard. Thank you very much.
Big match today, Nuño. Big match today. I know you're unfamiliar with big-time European competitions in May, but Tottenham, Bodo Glimt, maybe one day you'll get to play in a semifinal against a Norwegian team.
In the Euro Cup?
I'm kidding, obviously.
I know.
Tottenham's trying to win a trophy for the first time ever. So
Ever?
Not ever, but it feels that way.
Yeah, it feels that way.
So.
I stopped following soccer about a week ago.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Me and Cade Bickham, he's a Tottenham fan too. We were talking in the back. We've stopped following Premier League matches for the last month, so this is the only competition that matters for us right now.
Shout out to Liverpool. All right, let's hit a break here. When we come back, Brian Kortan in studio, men's golf. We'll chit-chat with him about the NCAA tournament and whatnot. Right now, if your car was hit by that recent hailstorm, I guess it's been about 6-7 weeks now. Don't trust an out-of-town pop-up tent with your car. Trust a locally owned and operated business. I'm talking about Classic Collision Restoration, and they specialize in paintless dent repair for that hail damage. So these out-of-town pop-up tents, I've told you before, they're going to be out of town. They're already out of town. What they do is they get this fake phone number, and they call you, like acting like they're local, but they're in Minneapolis, or they're in Guam, or they're somewhere else. They're not here. They're not in, you know how I know? Because I can just tell. I just know when they call. You know, and there's like this little pause, and like it pops up. Hey, David, surprise your answer. Don't use them. Use the guys that are local. I'm talking about Doug Leopold, class of 1993, top quality auto repair, and Classic Collision Restoration is here to help you. No one else in the Brazos Valley offers the same quality of service and detail. Call them up, 979-779-8399, or online, classiccollisionrestoration.com. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150 will hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. TexAgs Live, Brian Kortan in studio, chit-chat, little Aggie men's golf, who had an awesome week, and they're now heading out to the Alabama and the Auburn Regional NCAA Tournament, a 2 seed. How you feeling about it?
Pretty good start to the postseason.
Yeah.
So, I feel really good about it. The guys are ready for the postseason to be here, and it's a long, windy road to get to this point. Start in August and play all the way through pretty much. I mean, you have Christmas break, but for the most part, we play pretty much all the way through. So, to get to this point, they're excited and in kind of the best spot they've been. So we keep going the right direction.
50th postseason appearance for Texas A&M. And you've been a part of that.
Not all 50, but
no.
But we've been. Yeah, we're fortunate to have the athletes that we have and the staying power that we've had. The program is definitely something that's to be proud of, I guess.
Yeah, it's a proud program, obviously, and I want to talk about what happened over the weekend, but you have 4 players reaching their highest rankings of the season heading into NCAA play. So that to me says peaking at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, the guys are doing a really good job. Fast and I are there for support. We help, we have conversations, but they're the guys that put in the work. I mean, they get in the dirt and figure it out, and that's a big deal for us. We recruit guys that we know will stick it out and put their time in and the effort to chase these things in postseason. So fortunate to have those guys on our side. But yeah, it's nice to see all that work going that direction at this time of year for sure.
Talk to me about the teams that are going to be at the regional.
Auburn's host,
Yeah.
Obviously defending national championship, really good. UCLA comes from out west, and they've had a really nice year. Have 2 really outstanding players from. I think they're both from Spain, and some other good players too. So they're a good team as well. You go down the line, you're going to have Georgia Tech, who's been really good over the years, and Oregon, and Purdue, and I think I'm missing one in there. But there's really good teams. Our sport's deep, it has a lot of depth, and it just speaks to the effort that schools are giving to golf and the amount of good players that are being produced, not just in the U.S., but abroad, that come get an education and try to compete at the high level.
Can you explain the parameters to get past the regional?
Yeah,
has it changed this year?
No, they haven't changed. Ours have been the same. So there's 13 teams or 14 teams, depending on your regional. They kind of get them balanced out in terms of strength. And then 5 teams advance. It's just that simple. Top 5 teams move on to go to the national championship.
And speaking of Auburn, we know their recent history. Just what makes them such a special program?
Nick's had a really good run of some guys that have really played some really high-level golf. That's Coach Clenard. So had a really good run of those guys. There's other schools that have had it. We've had it at times. We've had it with and been through it a little bit. So it's just part of, you get a couple guys that really blossom and really become great players. And it happens. And they're tough to beat right now, but I'm here for it.
I was telling you a couple different times over the last few days, I've seen you all on TV. Just what was the SEC like? How was that run?
If you get to the TV part of it, it's awesome because that means you've been there the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great for the guys. I think they really have you don't get a chance in college to be on TV and be spotlighted like that often. So for us to be on that, on the TV and in that position, playing the kind of golf we were playing, it was really cool for them to experience that. It's been a few years since we've been in the final match, but for those guys to have that, and man, it was close to turning our way there a little bit. So they really enjoyed that, and I think it kind of makes them kind of even want it a little bit more.
Yeah, and P had as usual, phenomenal performance. Talk a little bit about him.
Yeah, once he got going, he was phenomenal. It took him a little bit, but he had a stretch there of, we were trying to count it up, close to 60 holes without a bogey. So, just really he can get into one of those grooves where golf comes to him pretty well. he's accepting of what goes on when he's out there, and it tends to lead to really good scores. But obviously Michael Heidelbaugh opened with 61. That's the first time I've had anybody open with 61 in a golf tournament, so might as well do it at the SECs, right? So that was fantastic. And then, Aaron kicked in a couple good things in there and helped with some, match play stuff. And then Wheaton was solid the whole week, which was big. We got to have guys that you can kind of count on, and we really actually have a group that's pretty. They count on each other a lot, and they do a lot of good things.
How are you in tense moments? Because I see you in here, and I see you around. You're very kind of, I don't know if chill's the right word. Is that fair? Or is like, because your team is, I'm looking at this stat here that has been, was it 6 straight times to the semifinals? It seems like your teams always play very well under pressure, and I assume that's kind of a, one of your character traits.
I hope if I help them in those situations to calm down, then that's even. I hope I have that kind of effect on them. I'm pretty relaxed. I'm an intense guy, and I'm a horrible loser. I'll tell anybody that asks, I'm a bad loser. I need to be a better winner because I should enjoy those more. But yeah, no, the parents were there, and they were a lot of the parents of the kids were there, and they're kind of going around, and they're like, man, I can't even really, they're like suffocating in the moment. And I looked at my watch, and my heartbeat was like 83. So I'm just kind of cruising along. But I think it's perspective. I think it's life lessons, but it's also understanding that I need to be there for them. I can't be frantic. I as much as my head's thinking all the possibilities that can go on, I have to be there for them to know that everything's all right and they can handle this moment.
I think you mentioned it's going to sting a bit. Is it still singing, or I guess you have to start thinking ahead, right?
It stings more than I probably let on, because I really do understand how hard it is to get there. There's, I think, 12 teams in the top 25 in our conference. It's a juggernaut. I know the other sports are really good as well, but I think golf compares or is the top one in the SEC in terms of how it's represented there. So it's hard to get there. So I'm really thankful for those moments that you get to compete for that championship, and you can, you get far enough in that tournament where you can kind of see the trophy. But it's a juggernaut. It's hard. So I need to relish those moments more and think longer and harder about how cool that is. But yeah, I'm off to the next one, which is regionals. It's not like you get to go from SECs and then we're going to go play the Aggie or something. So
right.
I'm pretty sure that right after that term was over, it wasn't long until I started thinking about regionals. So whether we'd have won or lost, that's where my head would have gone. So good or bad, that's kind of how it operates.
Yeah, but if you're playing in the SECs, right, and you're on to the last day, like, I don't know, you're used to that world, right? So when you get to regionals, all right, we just continue what we've been doing.
The experience, success leads to success, and that was a successful week for sure. And you come back here and you have to settle in a little bit because they do have to a school.
Yep.
We got guys taking finals this week, but in terms of, I think the level of belief and the confidence in who they are and who they can be, it's pretty high, and they're getting more and more comfortable walking in those steps. So the more comfortable they are there, the easier it is to perform.
What's the schedule? When do you guys head out?
We head out next Friday, so we got a week. Guys are cleaning up finals this week and maybe into Monday. So it'll be hit or miss what we're doing together as a team, but we'll get it together and get going and attack that regional like we did the SECs.
Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you. Good luck to you. Try to get one of your athletes in here soon, maybe before they head out.
Potentially.
Let's do it. Let's set it up. Ground shuttle time. They offer frequent and reliable shuttles from Bryan College Station to George Bush Intercontinental Airport. So if you're going to Bush, you know how bad the parking situation is there. The parking, the traffic, and then all the chaos that ensues trying to get to. Look, just let Ground Shuttle take care of you. You just park right there in South College Station. They'll take you the whole way. Super simple, and they will make sure that you get there on time. They have 9 shuttle times on weekdays, every hour and a half, and 5 shuttle times on the weekends. Awesome for business commuters and also for anybody who's trying to travel. If your kid's about to finish school and they need to get home, that's the way to do it. No doubt about it. You can also book any vehicle in their fleet for a charter service. They can take you anywhere in Texas. The website is easy, groundshuttle.com. That website again, groundshuttle.com. Check them out. They'll get you to Bush. All right, welcome back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for Around College Athletics, brought to you by Milliken Reserve, a College Station community featuring homes, trails, farms, and wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. Take part in the Milliken Reserve community with a Conservancy membership. Learn more at millikenreserve.com. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering Hotline. That's where we find Aaron Torres, AT from Aaron Torres Online and Fox Sports Radio. AT, what up?
David Nuño, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Talk to me. What? Look, I think you and I are very similar, but like this war with JJ Redick, I think it's time to turn the page. Like you went after him yesterday with with like this venom, and I was really intrigued and highly entertained by it. Glad I did all that talk and got nothing from AT. That was good. That was good. Good way to intro. Are you still there, AT? Did you hang up on me? Huh, we lost him. So if you don't know, Reed, you know that JJ Redick and AT are not boys. Obviously now you know, right? I think about 2 years ago, Nick, you can help me out with this story. I believe that AT said something about JJ. JJ responded. They went after each other, and it's just been a war since then. More from AT towards JJ Redick. But yesterday, AT was super happy to gloat the fact that JJ Redick lost and was eliminated. So I'm trying to get the spin of what the latest is between those guys, but I think we've lost AT. So as we try to get him on the line, let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center and try to get. Actually, we do got him. AT, that was weird. We lost you after I gave a whole intro about what happened with you and JJ Redick. Kind of give us the quick rundown of what happened initially and then what transpired yesterday.
Yeah, no, last night was like Christmas and New Year's and Hanukkah all wrapped into one. No, listen, I'll just be quick, is that, I put out a very innocent comment about, an NCAA tournament game I was watching in 2022. JJ Redick, when he was king of NBA Twitter, told me that I had no idea what I was talking about. And then on his podcast with Kevin Durant, and you can still find this clip, I'll be happy to send it to you, David Nuño, if you want. He says, this college basketball writer was saying X, Y, Z. Well, here's the deal, F-head. And then he launches into a monologue on all of the reasons that I was wrong. So, you just tweeted Torres, that's fine. But, he did call me a derogatory slur, which I actually don't really care about. I get called I get called about the same on Twitter every single day. But what doesn't happen every day, David, is the person that's calling me the slur, melting down on the biggest stage possible. So, yeah, did I stay up a little bit extra later last night to watch the Lakers lose in 5 with, after trading for one of the 2 or 3 best players in the league? Did I maybe watch more inside the NBA than I have in years? Did I maybe hang on every moment of that game, which, by the way, the Timberwolves tried to give away about 50 different times? Yeah, I enjoyed it because, listen, it's one thing to be a bad person. It's another thing to be a bad person to fail on the biggest stage possible. So I'm sorry. I enjoyed it. If that makes me, petty or whatever, so be it. But yeah, it was a fun little Wednesday night in the Torres household. Let me put it that way.
Well, I'm just going to read this tweet. Lakers' last 3 first-year head coaches: Frank Vogel won an NBA title. Darvin Ham made the Western Conference Finals. JJ Redick lost in the opening round of the playoffs. Tough break for a guy whose only qualification was LeBron's podcast wine and drinking buddy.
Yeah, and listen, part of it too does come back to what happened last offseason, which, I was on vacation, news broke. That story was a total sham. Everybody, were trying to cover themselves when they hired this guy because, listen, I'll say this, man. I know we don't talk a ton of NBA. I don't talk a ton of NBA, but I think people are starting to see what a disaster of an organization this is. Listen, I moved to LA towards the tail end of the Kobe era. There was no doubt that it was a Lakers town. It meant something to go to games, to get tickets. And this isn't really a JJ Redick. It's a symptom of the bigger illness. LeBron James is, living in LA, I can promise you the Dodgers are now the story and the team that everybody cares about. And it's because pretty much the entire city hates LeBron. You handpicked coach. You forced out several other guys, including, to the point of the tweet, one guy that won an NBA title, one guy that made the Western Conference Finals. You bring in your son, who, I'm sorry, listen, I don't have to explain to the audience what his son's limitations are. So I just think that the whole organization has been exposed on the biggest stage. And I know this isn't an NBA show and I don't want to bore your audience with it. I think there's a lot of big picture questions about that organization and what they should or shouldn't be doing going forward, because I think a lot of things got exposed here over the last 24 to 48 hours with this team.
Yep. Let's move on, because I want to ask you about Bill Belichick. And it's a weird topic for me because he hasn't fallen from grace just yet at North Carolina, but people are anticipating that because of the relationship with his girlfriend, who's 22, 23 years old, and there's rumors about how they met. I don't know what's true, what's not. I'm not going to get sued for it. I'm kind of at a point with Bill Belichick, like, if they fail, then I think we have something to point at. But I do think the red flags are out there.
First of all, David, she's 24. Let's not exaggerate this story, okay? We don't need, David Nuño just making stuff up. No, I'm totally kidding. So, it's funny, right? So I'm kind of with you. It was a topic that I generally stayed away from until this week, and it wasn't just with the CBS report. It was with a TMZ report that people at UNC are worried about the reach and the pull that she has and the influence that she has on their head coach. And so, what I really think is, listen, what's going on in their personal lives, that's up to them to address, and, the people closest to Bill Belichick to decide what they think is best or whatever. But what I will say is he is a prominent head football coach. And like you said, he's being paid a lot of money to put that program in position to succeed. And I do think the more that I kind of think about this story, the more that it makes me realize I don't think this Bill Belichick UNC era is going to go well. I had my questions since the day he got hired, just this idea that, he's bringing this professional model to college sports. It's like, yeah, everybody has a professional model. I'm pretty sure Ohio State has it figured out. Same with Michigan, Alabama, Texas A&M, et cetera. But I just think maybe his personal life is a little bit more complicated too. And so when you're trying to balance, hey, I'm running this college football program, like, I think it's cliche, but it's true. Like, you need to minimize distractions. And I do think this is a distraction. I think to win at the highest level, you have to be all in. I don't know if he's all in. And I think, honestly, it's going to go maybe the way a lot of us thought, independent of the girlfriend, which he'll be there 2 or 3 years. I don't think he'll be a colossal failure, but I don't think he'll be this, like, legendary success. I just think he'll kind of be a guy. And then I think he'll kind of go down as one of the greats at a certain thing whose career didn't end the way that, we anticipated. Listen, MJ with the Wizards. I was joking on my podcast the other day. Hakeem Olajuwon played a couple games with the Toronto Raptors. Yep. We don't think of Hakeem Olajuwon as a Toronto Raptor. We think of him as a Houston Rocket. And so I think that's pretty much where this Belichick thing is going. I don't think it'll be a disaster, but I don't think it'll be great either.
Yeah, well, another thing about that is, like, there's some legendary coaches that we look at a little differently than we did 5 years ago, okay? Like Greg Popovich, and I'm not talking about his health issues that I know he's been battling, but the last few years of his run, doesn't feel like he was the guy. Bill Belichick, obviously, the divorce with Brady. I'm not even talking about the girlfriend situation. Like, there's certain guys that just a decade ago we were talking about the GOATs, and they're still in that conversation, but I think it's just not as bright.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually think, in 30 years when we look back on the Belichick thing, I think the thing that's going to hurt him more is that, listen, he was kind of a disaster without Brady, and Brady went on and won a Super Bowl. I think that's going to be probably what we remember more than North Carolina, unless he's either a huge success or a huge failure at Carolina. So I'm kind of with you on that, David, is that I actually think the Carolina part of this is being overstated. And I think those 4 or 5 years post-Brady, where it was kind of a disaster, Brady wins a Super Bowl in year one, as we all remember. I think that's probably will be more damaging to Belichick's legacy than anything that happens in Chapel Hill.
All right, last one for you. Damaging the legacy. how much of a hit did Deion take this weekend because of what happened with THUR? Even though it's a different story, they're unified. And I think Deion had a real bounce back kind of year, not only because of the results on the field, but I feel like the press was a lot more positive. And then this whole NFL draft thing has, again, brought him back.
Yeah, I'll try to be quick. I know we're short on time. I think when something like Shedeur going from a presumed, potential top 10, the floor of his fall was going to be 21 to Pittsburgh, and he's in the 5th round. I don't think you can pin it on one thing. I think what was pretty obvious, we all, I'll include myself, probably overvalued him as a quarterback. I just think there were fewer teams that actually needed a quarterback than maybe we realized. And then listen, I think, Deion could have said whatever he said. If Shedeur had handled himself by all reports, and I don't have any of this on firsthand knowledge, but, all the reports that we've read is that he did not handle himself the way that you need to handle yourself in that situation, especially, by the way, if you aren't, no doubt about it, number 1 pick or no doubt about it, top 5 pick. So, I don't know if we have time to dive deeper. I don't think Deion helped, though. I think to your point, I don't think Deion, using national media platforms to say we're going to pick where we're going to go and there's certain teams that are going to be off our radars, I don't think that helped the process. And so the Shedeur thing, like some of these big topics, is fascinating. But when I come out of last weekend watching him fall to the 5th round, I don't think it's one thing with Shedeur as much as it is 4 or 5 things that were working against them. And by the way, when I say 4 or 5 things working against them, many of them, to be clear, were very self-inflicted.
Hey, T, appreciate you, buddy. Have a great one.
All right, brother. We'll talk next week. Thank you.
Later, buddy. Looking forward to the ATJJ podcast reunion. All right, we'll drop it right there. We'll come back with Around the SEC. Right now, though, when unexpected happens, whether it's a car accident or property damage or business liability, you better have a place where preparation matters, and that's Rollo Insurance. The Rollo Insurance Group ensures that you're properly covered before crisis strikes. So their independent agents provide a consultation with all the insurance types, giving you the confidence and the details are going to be handled correctly. They've got 60 offices statewide, but they're all over the place, all over the country. They're experts always nearby to help you. The true value of insurance becomes clear in those critical moments when you need to file a claim, and Rollo Insurance agents will walk you through each step of the process, advocating on your behalf when you need support the most. They help you understand what is covered, what to expect, and how to move forward. Don't wait until disaster strikes to discover the gaps in your coverage. What you need to do is call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Her name is Rio Duran, around the SEC, presented by THUR. The THUR Group, if you're looking to build your dream home on your lot, the THUR Group will help you navigate the entire project from start to finish, making sure your home perfectly suits your lifestyle preference and budget to turn your dream home into a reality. Visit them at jaxsir.com. That is JAXSIR.com. Nick Savage, good morning, buddy. Let's go to you again.
Yeah, so this is something we hit on with John Neighbors yesterday. Is that when we had him on yesterday? Whenever we had him on.
We had him one day.
Yeah, one day this week. The Iamaleava situation, Madden Iamaleava situation at Arkansas, with the Arkansas collective basically, getting legally involved, trying to get what's being reported about $200,000 back from Iamaleava. So I'd just like to get your thoughts on it. I know you asked him what was going on exactly, but I mean, do you think this is a good thing? Do they, should he have to pay that money back? What do you think?
Yeah. I got to read the contract. I don't know enough about it. But if you sign an NIL deal for the season, for being a student athlete, whatever the contract says, I guess that's what they should do. But if the expectation was for him to be a member of that team, or it comes with appearances, or whatever the stipulations are, if he didn't do it, pay it back. 100%. And I know that John said that it's not a good look to go after money. Well, then kids are going to be doing this all the time. Why wouldn't you be like, hey, I'll join you guys at the next port. I'm going to go get paid. I'll come back. So if you sign a deal that says X, Y, and Z, and you don't do X, Y, and Z, just like if you come do work at my house, hey, I need a new floor. Can you give me a new tile in my living room? Yeah. And you start one day, but you don't finish, I'm not paying you the whole thing. Not, right? So you better pay me back. Again, I don't know enough about the contract. None of us do, right? We just see what other people are reporting. But anytime that there's it's not a pay-for-play thing, but it is. Doesn't act like it's, oh, really? I just want him to advertise my company. No, you don't. You didn't even know how to say his last name. You didn't even know Nico had a brother till he showed up. So stop, right? So it is a pay-for-play without it being a pay-for-play.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure this is going to become more common. Well, maybe. It depends on the house settlement, I guess. But I think it's just so interesting because this is the first time something like this has really happened. So that's why the world is paying attention to Madden Iamaleava.
Yeah, it may be the first time that we hear about it, but it ain't the first time, right? This is happening, and I think it's the first time that we've heard an athletic director we got to get ours back. So props to Hunter Yurachek for doing that because, and again, I need to know more about the information just based on what I've seen and read. My opinion is if you don't, live up to your end of the bargain, then yeah, there should be some penalties for that. All right, Mary Stoiana is going to be on the program coming up next on TexAgs Live. One of the greatest A&M athletes ever, a national champion in studio. Steve Denton after that, and a fan show guy right now. Just a fan show guy. That's weird. That's next, TexAgs Live. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Mary Stoiana is in the house. Hello.
Hello.
I was kidding with you, but I really do mean it. Like, you're kind of a big deal, but you're in the middle of being a big deal and trying to make it a big deal again. How has this year been, considering how last year ended with such greatness?
It's been super exciting coming back and just knowing that at the end of the season, there's that goal waiting for us, which is our ultimate goal. When we start out in January, we always want to invest in the early parts of the season. So that way, when it comes May, when the NCAA tournament starts, which is now tomorrow, we know we're prepared and we're ready to go. So yeah, it's been super exciting coming back after what was just a great historic season for us last year.
Talk to me about this, and I don't know if rivalry is the right way to phrase it, but there's a back and forth between you all and Georgia, right?
Yes.
You get one, they get one, you get one. Like, and I think it's great for the game.
Yes.
Do you guys see it the way maybe us analysts and fans look at it?
Yeah, 100%. And rivalry is the right word for it. We say that all the time. There are rivals, and I think it's really great having a rival that we get to play so often with them being in the SEC is just great. Like I say, iron sharpens iron. So every time we play each other, like you said, goes back and forth. But someone is getting a little bit better. Everyone's getting better every time we play. So super exciting, and we definitely want to see them in the tournament. At least I do, because
it feels like you will, though, right?
Yeah, it feels like we will. If all things go accordingly, we definitely will. We definitely know the odds might be in our favor a little bit, having played them last year in the tournament, that going our way. And coming off of a loss to them in the SEC tournament final only fires us up and makes us more eager to get them the next time. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is some of the, not to make it all about Georgia, but I just think it's interesting because the drama last year, right? Like,
there's a lot of drama.
There was a lot of drama in the SECs that, you know, the whole way that went down.
Yeah.
But this team, it looks like you guys just look at the task that's there and then you move on.
Correct. Yeah. Stay present moment. I mean, whoever's in front of you, take care of them first, and then whoever's next, take care of them next. But yeah, that's all you can do. All you can control is just the day at hand.
How hard is it to put together a campaign like you have after the success of last year? Because, like, you always hear, like, you know, that next year after greatness is almost hard to, like, have that chip on your shoulder. But you have had that same chip forever. Maybe that's just how you're wired.
Yeah, I feel like I do a good job going from year to year. However, the previous year went, just kind of resetting, starting from scratch, even trying to convince myself I need to work just as hard to achieve all the things that may come my way in the season. I think it's very important, like I just mentioned, stay in the present moment. You can't start putting expectations on yourself, getting ahead of yourself, saying, I want to win this match, I want to achieve this, that all just bubbles up too much pressure in your head, I would say. So yeah, stay in the moment and just work as hard every day. Know that winning, you can't take it for granted. It's just as hard every single match, no matter how well you've done, is how I think of it.
I'm looking at some of these numbers this year. 25-5 singles record, 21-5 against ranked opponents. When you do have a mishap, what is your, like, strategy or maybe your process to move on to the next?
Yeah, short-term memory is super important, and it's so great in the college tennis is that the match volume is very high. There's always going to be another match. Sometimes on the pro tour, whatever, you lose, you got to wait a couple weeks for the next round, but in college, there's another match just 2 days later, day later. Short-term memory is super important, and honestly, losses do nothing but fire me up, make me learn a lot from the day, whether it went poorly or not, and then I just come out the next day firing. That's how it works for me, I would say.
Let's talk about the Dream Weaver. We call Mark Weaver the Dream Weaver here on this show. I told you at the break, like, I've never seen him mad, and you're like, he's kind of very. Is it zen? Is that what you
zen.
said?
Yeah, is the word I use. He's super calm and chill, especially in tight moments in the whole duel match. It will be like 3-all, last match, deciding match. He's just standing there like poker face, which I think is really good because obviously as players, you can sense when your coaches are stressed or whatever the case is, and you don't want that bleeding onto you. So it's nice that he just has that, like, nice calm vibe.
Calm vibe, but, like, that commands respect, right?
Yes.
There's some can have a calm vibe, but like he's a guy that you don't want to disappoint.
Correct. Yeah. Whenever he's out there watching, obviously with any coach, it just inspires you to perform at a certain level of discipline and hard work. And yeah, he definitely helps us set the standard across the whole team.
Are you able to enjoy the moment? Because like you've had, I mean, I'm looking at some of the awards you've gotten. You've been SEC Player of the Week 12 times in your career, 3 times this year. You're a national champion. You're the best tennis player in the world. Like, can you enjoy it? Or it's like, look, I'll reflect on that when I'm 40?
Mm-hmm. That's such a great question, because one of the main things that keeps me able to perform in these tough moments is coming back to that sense of enjoyment. Mm-hmm. I work with like a mental coach back home, and he's always big on make sure you're enjoying it. Make sure you're just happy to be out there hitting the next tennis ball that comes. Mm-hmm. The enjoyment is so key, because that's the reason we started playing tennis in general, is because we enjoyed it. So if that was lost, like what's even all this for? So I always come back to the enjoyment.
I'm glad you say that, because I think college athletics now is like a job, right? Like
for sure.
It's been
feels like one, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I can see how if you don't get back to being the little girl who played tennis
mm-hmm.
at 9 years old,
mm-hmm.
how it can be like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Exactly, and especially for me, who wants to go further than college and play in the biggest tournaments on the pro tour, I always have to come back to that sense. That's a very calming thought for me. Yeah. So it's good to come back to that.
Mary, let's talk about some of your teammates. Talk to me about Nicole.
Nicole is one of the most talented tennis players I've ever seen. The way she strikes a ball is just unmatched. So much power and precision, accuracy. Yeah, she's just so talented, and we're really lucky to have grabbed her up as a transfer after her first year at Texas. Felt nice when she came and joined the good side. Yeah, she's done nothing but help the team and add very great depth in singles, and she's an amazing doubles player too. So definitely one of the most talented tennis players I've ever seen.
Mia, talk to me about Mia.
Mia's hard work and discipline and motivation helps me a lot as a player. She brings it every day on the court, and having other teammates like that really helps you keep going on days you feel tired or you don't not feeling it that day. Just looking around the other courts and seeing someone who's just busting it out there is really helpful to see. So I really appreciate Mia's work ethic and hard work.
And Luciana?
She's just a ball of busting energy, very energetic, very positive, smiling at all times. Even if you're feeling down one day, she notices right away, and she's like, come on, like, what's wrong? And then we'll just pump you back up. I really love her energy that she brings to the court. And like Nicole and Mia, talented, hardworking, always bringing it. So I'm so grateful to be surrounded by such great teammates.
So how did you get into tennis? What's the origin story? Yeah,
definitely through a family matter. My dad played tennis. He played in college, and he tried to play a little bit of pro, and he's a teaching tennis coach himself. So he taught me and my older brother of 2 years when we were very little. I think I started at like 4 or something, very young, just at the park, hitting around. Me and my brother, we both knew how to play. So then we just grew up training together as a whole family endeavor.
Yeah. Was there a point where you realized, I'm like way better than all these other kids? Or did it come later?
Yeah, I honestly feel like I was more of a later bloomer, I would say. I never really got the chance to compete out of my region. So I'm from Connecticut, so that's the New England region. So I never really got a chance to compete nationally across the United States. So I wasn't able to really test my skill level against maybe higher opponents. So I didn't really know if anything was going to become of my tennis game until I got into the later years of high school, and then played some national tournaments and did pretty well. And I didn't even know that playing at a school like Texas A&M existed or was even possible, like when I was 12, 13, 14, 15. So didn't really know what was going on till later, but I'm glad everything worked out.
So how'd you end up here?
Yeah, I was recruited really hard by the associate head coach at the time, Jordan Sabo. Yeah. He really made me want to come play for him. He showed me what the school would be like and all the resources that were available. And a big one that Texas A&M offers that stands out from other schools is their support towards your pro aspirations. So they were definitely on board with getting me to play some pro events during my time here, which I have been able to do through A&M. So that was a big part of it.
And let's talk about it's all gets started real soon and starting right here back at A&M.
Sorry, what was
that? Or just
that?
to postseason play, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Super excited to dive right into the postseason. Like I said, it's the most exciting part of the year, and we look forward to it as soon as it starts. So really excited that it's starting tomorrow.
How important is it to have Aggies there? Like, I mean, the fact that it's going to be your home crowd.
I can go on and on about the 12th man, especially what we get at our facility. It's so awesome. Like, I feel like other teams that come and play here, they have no idea what they're walking into. There's so many people. The volume is crazy, which is something that us tennis players notice right away because we're used to playing in those like calm, quiet environments. That's just how it is usually. But then we come here and there's so much excitement, so much energy from the 12th man. It only helps us, I feel like.
What will it take for this team to repeat? And it seems like a simple question, but considering how good the teams you're going to face are, considering the rivalries that we've talked about already, just like what will it take for this team to do it again?
Yeah, I feel like having inner confidence, knowing that we've done this literally last year is going to help us and take us a long way. We've put ourselves in the high pressure situations and come out on top. So if we just touch back with those and know we deserve to be here, we've done it before, I think we could really do it again.
And this team is pretty much the same team as last
Pretty
year, right?
much, yeah.
Outside of Carson moving on, right?
Pretty
Like
much.
It's pretty much the same
And
team.
that's what also gives us confidence. We know all these players have been in these moments before. We're super confident. We've seen us go over the finish line before. We're playing really great tennis now, and we only get better with every match, especially these higher level matches as the teams get better and better in the NCAA tournament. So, yeah, we're really excited to see what we can do.
Do you guys feel appreciated, especially considering A&M sports, the big three have not had the, well, baseball came very close last year, but it was a rough start to this year. Basketball ended a little early, and football had a kind of bad end to it. Do you feel the appreciation? Because like we brag about it, like you're national champions walking around campus.
Yeah, we feel the love. Definitely being one of the teams that's been able to go to the finish line of the big tournament. I guess in the past over 10 years it's been.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, definitely is cool to be one of those teams standing out. We feel the love.
So what's your calendar like? What's your schedule like at the NCAA tournament? Hopefully that ends with a national championship.
Yes.
And then what happens?
Yeah, well, real life happens, which is what I'm grappling with in my mind right now. I will graduate next week, which is I'm really excited for. Yeah. And then NCAA tournament maybe goes as late as May 18th. And then after that, we'll take some time off, refresh the mind, body. And then it's kind of a full send into the pro tour. My summer, I've made my schedule and it's packed with tournaments in the United States. I'm going to stay local and maybe some training in Florida at the USTA National Center there. They have been very helpful to me helping with my tennis there. So I'm going to be a busy tennis player this summer.
I was going to say, like, if all these things that these benchmarks, these life moments that are happening all at once, you're graduating from the greatest institution there is. You've got an opportunity to be back-to-back champion. You're going to be a pro, right? Like you've already had pro events. Like this is all happening in a very short window.
It's all happening. Yeah. It's definitely a lot to toss within my mind, but like I said, I really enjoy what I'm doing, what I've been doing. So that's what keeps me going, keeps me motivated, and I have big aspirations further than Texas A&M. So I'm super excited.
All right, last thing for you. There's a young Mary Stoiana somewhere out there watching, right? And what advice do you give for someone that maybe like you was a late bloomer, but inside they know I can be that?
Yeah, definitely just stick with the course, I'd say. There's tons of ups and downs. There's tons of adversity that will be thrown at you. Stick with the course and trust the process. If you have a dream, a motivation like that, that's inspiring you every day, just stick with it. Like, you never know what can happen. I never thought I would have the opportunities I got coming to A&M and having my tennis develop in such a way that set me up for the pro circuit so well. But here I am. I've just stayed in the moment and just tried to enjoy it like we talked about. And things have been working out so far.
Mary, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you. Good luck. Go get another championship.
Appreciate it.
All right, we'll hit a break here. We'll come back. We'll talk to Steve Denton on the other side. Got a lot to talk about with Coach Denton. Right now, Bird Dog, they're revolutionizing ranch management and hunting access. They're Aggie owned and operated. And I had lunch with Jonathan Lusk the other day. He had this vision of making an Airbnb for hunting, right? They have this hunting platform, and what they're going to do is they're going to set you up for these awesome hunts. They take care of all the logistics. That's the beauty of it. You just go have fun with your buddies and let them take care of the rest. They can get you a private chef. They set up the actual hunt. They get you an awesome 5-star ranch to stay at. It's so many cool things you can do if you're into hunting, where all you need to worry about is the hunting and the fellowship. And they can do some add-ons like helicopter hunting. They can also do some musical guests for you. So many different things that they can do. They can also help out the ranchers find money on their land. They do this tax optimization program where they find the hidden dollars on your land that you didn't even know about. The website is birddogit.com. That website, again, is birddogit.com. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Steve Denton in studio, talking a little Aggie men's tennis, breaking things down. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, so it's the time of year, right? Like I'm talking to a lot of these programs. This is where it gets real fun.
Yeah, I mean, this is the culmination of all the things that you've gone through during the season, and see if you can, for us, to play your best tennis at the end and give yourself a good run in the NCAA tournament.
Talk to me about peaking at the right time, too. What's your formula, your thought process to make sure that you all are playing your best now?
Well, I think we, first of all, have a really difficult schedule. We play all the top teams. I'm not one to kind of try to pad our stats, but to really give these guys some real tests along the way so that they can be playing their best tennis and challenge them a lot during the season. But then also kind of the key in my mind is to give them a little bit of some rest so that they're fresh going into the tournament. And we were able to, have a week where we could kind of, back off a little bit, give them a chance to catch up with their school. And, now it's full steam ahead, looking forward to playing on Saturday.
When you're thinking about that and understanding the schedule that you put is so difficult, do you have to every once in a while, I don't want to call them gimmies because I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but do you need to also we need to have some of these weekends where, the confidence gets to where it needs to be? Do you have to kind of mix in both, or is it, no, let's go full
Yeah,
throttle?
we try to go, well, first of all, when you get into SEC play, you don't have a choice with the schedule. So all the teams are really difficult to play. You don't have any easy matches. So we haven't had any in a while.
Yeah.
But typically we try to play a difficult non-conference schedule as well. I think what happens is when we're able to do that and other schools in our conference are able to do that, then we can get some wins against some of the top teams in the country that kind of elevates everyone in the rankings and helps everyone. And so, we try to play the toughest schedule that we can possibly play, not only for the conference, but also for each one of our players so that, they're beginning to be equipped to go play after college, which is what they want to do, is play pro tennis.
Right. Your seniors, I know that you have a lot of reflection on them. Let's talk about that last opportunity to play here and the importance of what they mean to you.
Yeah, well, first off, I mean, we were a bit fortunate to host, honestly. We had to depend on UCLA to beat Ohio State, and we'd beaten UCLA earlier in the year. And Ohio State has lost, just to put it in perspective, had lost 3 home matches in the last 20 years.
Wow.
And so for them to lose a match, that was pretty surprising. And that gave us a chance to leapfrog a couple of teams that were in our area. The NCAA then goes to head-to-head, and we'd beaten UCLA, so we jumped in. But yes, a second chance always to get to play at home for one last time in front of the 12th man, I think is important for our young players to get that opportunity to do so. Our last match at home was a tough match against one of the top teams in the country in Texas. And so to be able to come back again and play here, I know they're really excited about that opportunity.
I think I'm right, second consecutive year to face Rice. Is that right here?
Yeah, we played them in the regular season, but this is going to be a different team. They're on a bit of a hot streak right now. They won their conference. They beat Memphis and South Florida, who are both top 25 teams. And so we're going to have to respect them and be ready to play. When you get in the tournament, you pretty much can't look ahead. You have to focus on who's next, and Rice is next for us, and obviously we're going to have to be ready to play on Saturday.
But I feel like that's the philosophy for you all the time, right? Like you can't look ahead. Yes, the SEC is a gauntlet, no doubt, but if you start worrying about weeks ahead, that's where you get yourself into trouble.
Absolutely. You can't get ahead of yourself. You have to stay in the present. And that's really true in a sport like tennis. Even in matches themselves, you got to stay in the present when you play point by point. Keep reminding our guys that that's something that has to happen. If you don't do that, then you do get ahead of yourself and you lose concentration and focus, and bad things happen when that occurs.
Talk to us about Theo and his development the year that he's had.
Well, he's had a remarkable year considering. Here's a kid that comes. Yes, he got to the semifinals of Wimbledon as a junior and had a lot of international experience, but he came in here right away, playing number one, has played the whole season number one, coming in January, which is even more complicated, not having the fall to kind of ease his way into college tennis and the environment and everything. So, he's had a lot of growing pains, and, the maturing process is really, I guess, accentuated because of where he's having to play and never getting any free or easy matches, always playing better guys. And, I think overall he's handled it pretty well, considering all the different factors that are against him as a young player. And so I know that he knows, as well as I do, that he's significantly better than he was when he got here 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And, for me, that's the key, is continuing to gain momentum, and hopefully he can carry that forward, not only in the NCAA tournament, but this summer and on to next year.
JC's had some challenges this year. How's he doing right now?
Not good. He's hasn't been able to play for about the last 3 or 4 weeks. He's had a back problem, and likely not going to play for us the rest of the season. You make a choice there. You can put guys out there, but you're risking future. And he wants to play pro tennis, and we certainly don't want to do anything to keep that from occurring by him, having to sit out 6 months because he played in a match or two in the NCAA tournament and wasn't able to really play his best, but also was at a high risk of having more injuries and staying out longer.
His presence is felt, though.
It is. He's very vocal in our matches and, leadership off the court. He'd love to be out there. Obviously, it's killing him that he can't play. But, for whatever reason, this is his, he's not going to be able to complete his career here. But hopefully he's equipped himself to be able to go out and have a good pro career.
Talk to us about doubles team with Theo, and is it Tokach? Is it?
Yeah, Togan Tokach. They're currently ranked number 4 in the country. They're just they mesh really well. I think Togan's a great leader for young Theo on the court. He is an accomplished doubles player, and they serve and they volley well and they move together pretty well. There's good chemistry there, and they've played against a lot of really good teams this year and had success against many of them, and so they're playing with a fair amount of confidence right now going into the tournament.
Is it fair to say the team has got some young guys that are catching their stride, and also a good group of vets?
It is. It's a mix. And what I like about this team in particular is typically by the end of the season, your veteran players step up and play their best tennis. It's like in other sports. You see a senior-laden team in a basketball program, for example, and they make a pretty good run in the NCAA tournament just because they've been there before. They know what to expect, and they know what's required, and they know that if they, it's win or go home. And so they tend to play at a little higher level and a little more intensity as they get into the tournament, just like you're watching the NBA right now. All these teams are now playing at a different level because, this is it for them for the end of the season.
So what's the schedule? Give us a little breakdown of how people can be involved and check it out, and what it looks like here over the next
couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll play Rice at 1:00 on Saturday, and Nebraska will play Baylor at 10 a.m. Our women will play their second round if they win on Friday, which I anticipate that happening. They'll play at 4:00 on Saturday afternoon. So a lot of good tennis on Saturday. And then if we beat Rice, we'll play the winner of the other match at 2:00 on Sunday. And that'll be obviously the second round of the NCAA tournament. And the winners will likely advance and go on to Wake Forest, who's the number 1 team in the country, because they'll host a super regional next weekend.
We had Mary in studio just a few minutes ago, right before you got here, and I marveled at the way her mind works. And I'm sure you've got a lot of folks on your roster that I feel like the greats, there's a certain thing about how they process information and the way they go about their business that stands out.
Yeah, I mean, she's been an incredible player for A&M, and her belief system, in herself has been infectious for the rest of the team. I mean, I don't think she ever thinks that she can't win at certainly at this level. And obviously that helps a ton when your best player is maybe your hardest worker and your toughest mentally. That resonates down the rest of the lineup. And, it's been, I know, a great 4 years for her here and for Mark Weaver and the women's program, having her here and her leading that team by example and having that, one of the great things that I heard one time from Novak Djokovic, which obviously is a great player, and he said that your beliefs have to be greater than your doubts. And I think a young player like Mary and other great players, that's what happens, certainly in the important moments in matches that determine winning and losing. Your belief system has to be greater, and you don't question yourself. You just go out there and do it.
So Saturday, 1 o'clock, come go support, and hopefully we're talking about a deep, deep run, sir.
Great. Thank you so much
for
having
Steve.
me. Yeah, nice
great
to see
seeing you.
again.
We'll hit a break here, and we'll come back with a little fan show. But right now, Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you're a business owner and you want to take your operation to the next level, make sure that Caldwell Country Chevrolet is involved because they've expanded their commercial vehicles to meet your every need, from service body trucks to heavy-duty trucks to flatbeds to medium-duty trucks. And they are a newly designated business elite leader, which means that they're going to make sure that your company is moving forward. And that's not all. Every commercial vehicle purchase comes with their legendary free oil changes for life because they believe in supporting local businesses. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryant to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. The Love Shack here on the Fan Show, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. A lot of love in the air because we've got Matt Browning, Sutton Turner.
Good
Gentlemen,
morning.
Fan Show.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Guys.
Let's do it.
I don't know if Reed Neal knows what to ask here. Do you know what? Oh, you do know what to ask. He's going to ask a hard-hitting question. Why don't we start off at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center? Reed, ask Sutton Turner the hardest question you can think of. Go ahead.
What is on your mind?
Trisha Ford and that Aggie softball. First of all, she's the best coach I think we have on campus. She's a program builder, not like Buzz, which was a team builder. He built one team. She is building, if you look at KK, you look at Frankie, the young freshman that she's playing on a very talented roster, and she's supplementing really great transfers like Mac Barber. It's so awesome, and I'm excited at 5 o'clock tonight for us to be able to watch them play in Knoxville. Hoping we can get 2 out of 3, but I've been going. My wife, we love going, especially during the midweek. It's fun, It's an hour and a half to 2 hours. Davis Diamond is amazing. And I think she's building an incredible program. And if people have not been out to Davis Diamond,
You're missing out.
You're missing out. I think the people are going to do lawn chairs for the regional and the super regional. So it's going to be amazing. And I really feel like she's going to be here a long time. And she's got that feeling of that culture, like this is going to be a top 10 every year program. And that's exciting.
Yep.
Like we have not had that in any real major program, year after year after year that we're in that conversation in the toughest league that there possibly is. And I think the SEC softball is tougher than any other SEC sport as far as that conference goes.
I'll add this. The great Gary Blair was in studio yesterday, and he's like, David, I listen to that Trisha interview every week. I stay in my car on my drive. There's something about her. Yes, the team is producing, but she's got this likability factor and this intensity that both can kind of show up in an interview.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for it because everything else has been kind of difficult.
Hey,
but
women's tennis national champions trying to make it back to back.
Yeah, so thank you, ladies. The ladies are
all the ladies on campus.
They're doing great. They really are.
Track and field, volleyball,
Yep.
softball. Most of them are doing fantastic.
Doing good, and so we need that, especially after the weekend we just had. So,
is that what's on your mind?
Well, of course that's what's on my mind. I am, just nothing worse than losing those knuckleheads, and so. To play them, in the men's major sports, 7 times this year, we're 6-1, or they're 6-1 against us. Boy, that just stabs you in the heart.
Why'd you just kick me?
I know, man. Look, it's got to
belt.
be said. We got to bring it up. It's got to be talked about. So we got to talk about it. We got to talk about the fact that that's happened. That
unacceptable, guys, is the way I look at it.
It's 100% unacceptable. And look, it's there's just something about. And a lot of Aggies don't want to admit to it, but there is something about playing them that we definitely we've got to beat them. They're our biggest rival. They're just awful. They're all awful, every one of them. I've got people that
I really like my wife. I do like her.
There are fans of them that I love, but I hate the fact that they're fans of that place. But look, you've got to win these games. You can't. We've got to be competitive, especially in areas where we're talent loaded. We were better than them in basketball overall, more talented than them in basketball. They beat us 2 out of 3. I think we're more talented than them in baseball, but they got
a really good coach.
They got a good coach. He's a great baseball coach. He doesn't seem like a very good person, but seems like a very good baseball coach. And so,
but to me this weekend, yes, disappointing, but I think they're probably the best team in the country, and we're one run. We're a couple of errors. We're very, very close to winning each one of those 3 baseball games. I really feel like if we can make it into a regional, that we will end up back in Austin for a super regional.
Chance to eliminate them.
And there will be zero pressure on us going to Austin. Zero pressure, and all the pressure will be on the Sips.
Let me ask this question, because I hate moral victories. And I'm not saying there was a moral victory this weekend. Please not go in there. I hate them. Like, I just win the freaking series. That's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But if that was Tennessee this weekend, if that was Arkansas this weekend, would we be like, God, we were so close? Like, almost moral victory-ish. But because it was them, because it was Schloss, because of everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes to every bit of that. 100%. Yeah. I mean, obviously losing 3 games in a row by 1 run apiece to Tennessee is an easier pill to swallow than losing those in Austin to those numbnuts. And for them to sit there and chant "poor Aggies" the whole time, it's just infuriating to me. And so, yeah, I mean, this is look. I don't care what has to be said. These coaches have to know that this is important, and we've got to win these games.
And to be fair, this is Mike Earley's first season as a head coach. And so the decision to bring back Weston Moss on Sunday, he might not do in the future, right? That cost us that 3rd game. Weston loaded the bases, could not make any pitches after he had not had a whole lot of pitches on Friday. So, I mean, there's just some things I think that, and granted, we have a loaded team, so we have high expectations. We've had high expectations all year. But I do think we have the right coach. I do think we have the right program. I do think that we might need to look at our pitching coach. But besides that, I really feel like the program's headed in the right direction. I want us to get into a regional. I think nobody will want us in their regional. And I think that we have a good shot of getting out of a regional.
And in football's defense, Elko, it was his first year too. And so we have some things playing against us, where they came in better suited for this season in a lot of different areas. Their first year in the SEC, they've been building towards this, where they got to kind of prep for all this.
I thought we were too, though.
Yeah, well, they got to prep in that weak little league that they've been in.
That's a true story.
And that there just bugs me beyond no end. They should still be over there. They should still be stuck in the mess that they created, but yet they get to get bailed out, and it just bugs me. So sorry, I'm off it. Softball's been great, fantastic. They're doing so well.
Let me ask you guys a football question, then we'll hit a break. It was a topic that came up in the first segment this morning. The backbone of this year's football team, right? When you think about what they're going to hang their hat on. It can be a position group. It can be a player. It can be a theme. I don't care. You go first, Matt.
I think, and I've actually thought about this quite a bit. I think that this, hopefully, if they can take the strides they took from the steps they took last year and jump that up again this year, I think it's O-line all day long. I think O-line, because O-line is, in my opinion, still the most important position, right? No doubt we're going to take a step back on the D-line. Even if they're good, we're going to take a step back from a talent standpoint. But O-line, the trenches to me is always the most important part. I think the O-line is going to be the key because we're going to have to run the ball. We're going to have to protect our quarterbacks. Our quarterbacks like to hold the ball a little longer than they probably should. So we need to make sure that the O-line, so if we're going to be successful, it's all coming from the O-line.
100% agree. Like, it's the offensive line. And I believe it's not just our 5, it's our first 8. I think we have the depth this year. Well, I mean, when Ruben Fadley is playing second team right tackle, we've got some serious strength in our depth and experience.
Naboo's back.
I mean, I'm really excited about those guys. And we know that when we can run the ball, it opens up everything else. And so I really think that this year, I'll be honest with you, when we go, and I'm going to go to Chicago to the South Bend game, I think that that's going to be a surprise to those guys, is how well we can run the ball.
Yeah, I think our best position group is honestly the backfield. I think the running backs from a talent standpoint with Le'Veon and Reuben Owens coming back and just that group. I think but they're not going to do anything without that O-line.
Interestingly, we didn't run the ball great against Notre Dame last year.
Nope.
But they have a different defensive line. And I did an extension of what you guys said in the first segment. Yes, I agree, offensive line. But my extension was line of scrimmage, because as strong as you are on the offensive line, can you, if not match it, can you exceed what the production was at the end of last season on your defensive line?
That's the question. I mean, you just lost your 3 best defensive linemen to the draft. All 3 of them just got drafted. 1 first round, 1 second round. Where did Shamar go? Shamar Turner go?
The Bears.
Yeah, but like 5th round, I think. So
No. Shamar Turner, second round.
Yeah.
Oh, so Shamar and Nick Squirton both went in the second round.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. So you just had 3 guys go in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft. So that's tough to replace. But again, now it's just community effort.
But those guys were talented. But where were the sacks? We did not have the sack numbers from both of the from a first rounder and a second rounder that you would expect. Now, do I think they're going to have great pro careers? 100%. But those guys weren't what like this time last year, we were talking about the defensive line and we were talking about how many team sacks that we were going to have.
I thought Squirton would have double digits like he did at Purdue. And I thought Shamar Stewart was going to break out and have 7-8 sacks. And he wanted 15. And I thought Shamar Turner, just get him healthy, he's going to be a menace. But that didn't happen. Let's hit a break here. We'll come back with the final segment of the Fan Show. Right now, if you're looking for a reason to move back to Aggie Land, or are already living here in Aggie Land and need a job, reach out to the Association of Former Students. I'm not saying they're going to hire you per se, but they might because they have openings all over the place, sometimes in fundraising and sales and marketing, in communications, you name it. They're looking to add to that awesome alumni association. And by the way, they're the oldest organization supporting A&M in support of that Aggie network. They play a part in every Aggie story from Howdy to here. And they have so many awesome opportunities to help them. So if you want to help out with Howdy Socials, Aggie Reading Day, class reunions, and everything in between, join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. If you're interested in joining the team or sharing with someone who would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/associationjobs. The true development of the TexAgs fan show is that now we used to talk at breaks, Matt, about, I don't know, we'd make fun of people or we'd, that's especially Longhorns, we would talk about what's right with the program, what's wrong. Now, Sutton, how would you describe the last 3 minutes that you were moving your head, but it's become a fitness
No, I'm
talk.
proud of him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seriously proud of him. He's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
He's looking good.
Appreciate it.
And he's going to live a lot longer.
Oh, yeah. So
I'm really proud of him.
David's my fitness Sherpa.
Yeah.
And so he's one of the guys
People
I lean
hate
on.
that.
So I you know what? I appreciate him because he's got the knowledge towards it. Everybody, there are things that I know that he doesn't know, and there's things he knows that I don't know. So when I need something, especially when it comes to my exercise routine and my eating habits and everything else, dude, David's a wealth of knowledge. Yeah. So if anybody out there needs some help, call Nuño.
Hey, I've moved on from. I'm still a fitness guy, but I'm more of a longevity guy now.
Yeah.
That's my big thing. Can I live to be 120, looking good?
Yeah, I do not. I know. Hey, this. So I think I always tell people everybody's like, oh, hey, I want to, swimsuit season's coming up. I need to lose 10 pounds. That's the kind of people's mindset. No. Yeah. Mine was straight up. I was unhealthy, and it's time to get healthy. And so.
Well, let's get A&M sports healthy. Mm-hmm. How are we feeling, Sutton? It's been a minute, so Buckyball. What do you think about this? The pieces I'm at a point, and I'm answering for you. I apologize. That I'm really intrigued. I don't know what to think, but the guys he's adding, I'm like, I can see where this is going.
Yeah, I'm enjoying watching is with his recruiting of the portal, which has got to be. I mean, Buzz left a decimated program. He did not build the program. He decimated our program. And so he's having to build it back through the portal. And he is recruiting guys and getting guys that we don't hear on TexAgs that we're recruiting. I mean, it's just like, it's a surprise. Like he's doing
by design.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And so I love that about him, that he's going after people that nobody knows. Secondly, he has already surpassed Buzz Williams on athletic events, non-basketball athletic events that he has come to. I saw him there just the other night with a basketball recruit. I would assume he was a basketball recruit because he was like 6'8".
It might be who Luke took a picture of, Federico.
Like, I think he's Texas Tech guy or something like that.
Yeah,
well, anyway, and he's sitting in 203. I just love it, When you see him in the concourse, you go, hey, coach, he stops, talks to you. I mean, so I am, he is taking a page out of the Gary Blair, I am going to be a friend of the fan. I'm going to have relationships with fans. I'm investing, and I love that. And so, will we win basketball games this fall? I don't know. Do I believe that he is building a program? 100%.
I do like that. You think about it, Coach Blair and Coach Henry, I think, are probably the two people who are most, that you see in the and Brian Kortan too. I mean, these are guys that you see out and about. They're part of the community. They're at events that we do. I mean, so yeah. So I do like when coaches do that. But and so I'm excited. What was this quote? It said, would you prefer a dunk or a block? And he said, I prefer a 3.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about we're going to have a very, very, very different mindset in basketball this next year, which is going to be fun.
So you're saying we won't have an 8-minute drought without scoring?
Oh, I mean, if we do, at least we'll be jacking up threes from all different directions.
Well, and we'll be pressing them on the other side of it. That's what I'm most interesting is a fast pace, but you're pressing the other team full court. I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be cool.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
Tomorrow on the program, I think JB Moss might be stopping by. He said he's going to be in town, so I hope we get JB in studio. We'll have our baseball bunch discussion. We'll have Billy Lucci on the show, and we'll have Luther Vandross, Olin Buchanan on the program as well. That's going to do it for TexAgs Live on a Thursday. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We will see you mañana.